Assalamu alaikum. And forgive me if that's not quite right, but we're trying. So thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's certainly an honor to be here. As the new mayor-elect of Shelburne, I was thrilled to receive the invitation to attend today, and I certainly credit all of you for your efforts in reaching out to the community that you now call home to teach us about your faith and open a dialogue with everyone else. So I hope that this is the first of many gatherings similar to this over the next 4 years. When Deputy Mayor-elect Steve Anderson, who you'll meet here shortly, when he and I set out on this journey together and decided to forge a cooperative effort in our campaigns for office, we did so for a couple of reasons. First and foremost, we share a common vision for the kind of community that we want to build. As many of you know, Shelburne is the fastest growing community in Ontario and is also the most diverse community within Dufferin County. This growth and diversity has happened very quickly. As was mentioned in the introduction, I grew up and went to high school in Shelburne, and when I left in the year 2000 and went on to pursue my education, the town that I left behind was very different from the town that we see today, and then that's a good thing. The rapid growth and diversity that we've experienced, though, has presented some challenges. Steve and I have talked at some length about this, and we share a commitment to the notion that through this growth and through this diversity, we can find ways to promote our common interests and build a community that is inclusive and cohesive, and a community where everyone has a sense of place and where everyone feels a part of things. We also believe that this can and must be achieved without losing sight of the traditions that created Shelburne in the first place and that still hold true and honor the town's motto of a people, place, a change of pace. The physical symbolism of the partnership between Steve and I is not lost on us either, and we sometimes joke about that. Well, I was raised very much a white kid, about as white as they come, on a farm in northern Dufferin County with deep personal roots to the area. Steve's a first-generation Canadian, Jamaican heritage, who grew up in Toronto. But despite these surface-level differences, we share some things that run much deeper. We share a common love for the community that we both now call home. We share a common vision for that community's future and a common desire to see it become the best community that it can be. And more than that, we've developed a pretty close friendship. So our partnership, as likely, or rather as unlikely as it may seem by mere appearances, I think does serve to demonstrate in a very real sense what is possible when we're able to bridge those superficial differences and find deeper common understanding with one another. So if you ever doubt that this vision that Steve and I are talking about is possible, you only have to look at us as living proof. So now, when making our vision a reality, a few things seem to be critically important. At this point in history for our community and in the midst of our growth and increasing diversity, it's more important than ever to remember that all of us are one family. And just like any family, every member deserves an honored and dedicated place at the proverbial table. Because when any one member of our family starts to feel separate or second-rate or left out, then it tears at the fabric of our very community. This is a moment when we truly have to listen to each other, learn from each other, and I appreciate the opportunity to do that today. And I also believe it has to begin with a commitment to mutual respect and compassionate understanding. And I'm so glad that this room is full today with people who seem to share that idea. With interfaith dialogue, I believe that we can build bridges of understanding that can span any divide. And all of us, whether it's Christians, Jews, Muslims, we all share some really important common values. And to be quite frank, mere tolerance of each other isn't going to be enough. Our faith summons us to something more than that, to a higher ideal, and that is rooted in the notion that we're all called to know each other and to love each other. And while each faith may express this notion in a slightly different way, our responsibility to love and treat each other as we would love to be treated ourselves is a central tenet not only of our faiths but of our shared humanity. So let me conclude by urging all of you to stand up for the values that you believe in and the future that you want to see, the values that you demonstrate in your daily lives and those that you teach your children. Get engaged, reach out, help us move this community forward. And Steve and I will certainly be your partners in that effort. We'll do everything we can to lift up and amplify the diverse voices in this room today that promote inclusion and fellowship and community. And we will continue to reach out and meet people where they are and encourage that community engagement and cohesion instead of just passively sitting back hoping that it's going to somehow happen on its own. We'll do this because we believe it's the right thing to do, but also because we believe it's the only way to build a strong and resilient community that we all call home. So again, thank you for inviting us today. And as I mentioned before, I hope that this event marks the beginning of what will become a very productive and